I've worked in music production for over 12 years, mostly behind the scenes. Ghostwriting hooks, engineering vocals, tweaking demos at 2 a.m. while the label execs sleep comfortably, dreaming of platinum plaques. I wasn't famous. I wasn't rich. But I was in. And that was enough, until I met him. It was early fall, a Tuesday. I remember because I'd just left a pitch meeting with a singer whose voice could barely hold a melody, but whose father owned half of downtown LA. I needed a walk to clear my head, headphones in, volume up, letting the beat swallow me whole. That's when I saw him, sitting near a boarded-up laundromat on 8th Street, holding a cardboard sign that read, "I used to sing. Now I just hum." Corny? Maybe. But I slowed down. Maybe it was the words. Maybe it was the look in his eyes. Or maybe I was just tired of industry polish and plastic. He looked mid-30s. Ragged hoodie, faded jeans, thin as hell, like he hadn't had a full meal in weeks. But his eyes, they weren't broken. They were burning. I was about to pass him when he tapped his fingers rhythmically on his knee. 4/4 time. Perfect tempo. Like a drummer with no drum kit, just muscle memory. Need a beat? He asked, grinning. I took my headphones off. "What?" I said. He leaned closer. "Need a beat?" "I got bars too. All real. None of that TikTok nursery rhyme crap." I was caught between amusement and curiosity. "You rap?" I asked. "Sing." "Right. Rap. Breathe, in rhythm. That's all I know." I asked his name. He hesitated. "People used to call me Blue." "Like the color?" He nodded. "Like the feeling." Something about that answer chilled me. He didn't ask for money. He didn't try to guilt me. He just sat there, like he was daring the world to hear him. "All right, Blue," I said. "Show me something." He looked surprised. Then he stood up, eyes locked on mine, and started to sing in a warm-up. No hesitation, just sound. His voice, it was raw, not polished, not trained, but powerful, like it had cracks in it where light leaked through. Soulful, unfiltered, broken in all the right places. If someone had recorded him on a vintage mic and dropped a lo-fi beat under it, people would have thought it was Frank Ocean's secret twin. When he finished, I didn't say anything. I couldn't. "You good?" he asked, suddenly shy. I gave him my card. "Come to my studio tomorrow. Noon." He looked at it like I'd handed him a lottery ticket. But he didn't smile. "You serious?" "Dead serious." He pocketed it, nodded once, and sat back down. The next morning, I doubted he'd come. Most people in LA say they're singers, or rappers, or producers. They slide into DMs with SoundCloud links and half-finished dreams. I'd been lied to, ghosted, and catfished by talent before. Why would this be any different? But at 12:03 p.m., the elevator doors opened, and there was Blue. He looked the same, but different. He'd cleaned up a little, wore a faded flannel, hair combed back, eyes still burning. "Didn't think you'd show," I said. "Didn't think you were real," he replied. I took him into my small studio. 3 mics, a beat-up keyboard, foam on the walls to muffle the street noise. Nothing glamorous. But the soundboard worked, and that was enough. We recorded 3 takes of an original song he wrote that morning. Simple chords, no chorus, just verses, story after story from the streets, heartbreak, addiction, forgiveness, regret. It was like he'd lived 10 lives and condensed them into 2 minutes and 38 seconds. When we finished, I played it back. Blue sat silently, eyes closed, swaying slightly. "You hear that?" I asked. He nodded. "That's you. Uncut. Real." "It doesn't sound like me," he said. "It sounds exactly like you." I told him. "That's why it works." That night, I couldn't sleep. I sent the demo to an A&R I trusted. Told him I found something. Someone. Told him I'd bet my name on it. He didn't reply. But 3 days later, I got a call. "This guy," the A&R said. "Where did you find him?" I smiled. 8th Street. Asterisk. The moment I hung up with the A&R, I knew we had a shot. He didn't usually call unless he felt something. And I knew what Blue had was beyond industry standard. He wasn't TikTok bait. He wasn't another auto-tuned clone. He was real, and that was rare. Maybe too rare for this business. The next morning, Blue came in, coffee in one hand, spiral notebook in the other. "You ready?" I asked. He nodded. "Didn't sleep much." "Same." I'd cleared my schedule, called in a couple favors, even managed to get a real session booked at a major studio. Big glass windows, Newman mics, isolation booth, the whole 9 yards. When we arrived, The front desk girl raised her eyebrow at Blue's appearance, but didn't say a word. The receptionist had seen worse. And besides, when you're with someone on the guest list, people don't ask questions. Blue stepped into the booth like he belonged there, no hesitation. No nerves, just that same steady tempo tapping on his knee. 4 time that we spent the whole day recording. He had a folder full of lyrics, scraps of poetry, verses written on napkins, in the margins of library books, on the backs of bus tickets. I'd never seen anything like it. He wasn't just singing, he was purging. Every track felt like a confession. Some were rough, sure, pitchy, offbeat, but others hit like gut punches. One track, Shadow in the Sunlight, was about his mother. A gospel-infused ballad, no beat, just piano and silence between verses. When he finished the final take, the engineer took off his headphones and whispered, "That's the one." I agreed. That week, I started shopping the demo around. Labels were cautious. They wanted polish. A backstory. A following. No socials. No streams. No press. Who is he signed with? Where's his EPK? Every question reminded me how formulaic this industry had become. But I didn't give up. I uploaded Shadow in the Sunlight anonymously to a private SoundCloud link. Sent it to curators, influencers, even a few old radio DJs. 2 days later, it happened. Someone leaked it. I don't know who. But once it hit Twitter, it took off. Who is this voice? I'm crying, and I don't even know who he is. Better than 90% of what's on the radio. It snowballed. Overnight, Shadow in the Sunlight hit 100,000 plays. Blue didn't believe me until I showed him the stats. "This isn't real," he said quietly. "Oh, it's real." He sat back, stunned. People are listening. People are feeling. That's the difference. I booked us a meeting with a mid-sized label the next morning. Nothing major, but they were hungry, and more importantly, they listened. The rep offered a distribution deal on the spot. Nothing huge, but enough to give us studio time, marketing support, and maybe, just maybe, a shot at something bigger. Blue read every line of the contract 3 times. "I don't want to lose who I am," he said. "You won't," I promised. "Not with me." He signed it. A month later, Blue dropped his first official single, Midnight Gospel. We recorded it in one take. No pitch correction. No layers. Just his voice, a Rhodes piano, and a heartbeat kick drum. The morning it dropped, I checked Spotify. 10,000 plays by 9 a.m. By noon, 75,000. By midnight, 500,000. When Midnight Gospel crossed 1 million streams, things started to change. Journalists called. Agents emailed. Blue's story, or rather, his lack of one, became the mystery everyone wanted to solve, but we weren't ready. Not for the spotlight. Not for the questions. He still slept at my place. Still wore the same hoodie. Still flinched every time someone praised him. We had a rule. No press. But curiosity doesn't care about rules. One morning, I woke up to see a headline trending. Who is Blue? The mystery singer with no past. Someone had dug up old photos, mugshots, shelter records, a grainy video from a subway platform where he was singing for Changed. He didn't look surprised when I showed him. "Yeah," he said. "Figured they'd find me eventually." I sat with him on the couch. "You don't have to explain. You owe no one anything." But he shook his head. "No, I do. To you." He told me everything. His real name was Elijah Monroe. Born in Memphis. Grew up in the church. His mother was a choir leader. His father, a ghost. In every sense. At 16, he won a statewide gospel competition. There were scholarships, offers, promise. Then his mom got sick. Cancer. Aggressive. He dropped everything to care for her. Sold her car. Took jobs washing dishes, moving furniture, cleaning motels. When she passed, he had nothing left. Not even himself. Grief turned into silence. Silence turned into distance. He left Tennessee and drifted. Bus stations, missions, the streets of Atlanta, then Chicago, then New York. "I didn't sing for almost a year," he said. "Then one night in the subway, I just broke. I sang Amazing Grace. People clapped, gave me a few bucks. But it wasn't about the money. It was the first time I felt human again. I couldn't say anything. Just sat there. That night, I opened Twitter. Time for them to know the real you. I said that we posted a thread, not a PR-crafted sob story, just the truth. From his voice, His words, Elijah Blue Monroe used to sing for change. Now he's changing lives. The thread went viral. Celebrities retweeted it. John Legend. Her Alicia Keys even commented, "This brother's voice has soul. Real soul. I want to work with him." A week later, The Tonight Show called. Blue didn't want to do it. "I'm not a performer," he said. "Not like that." "You are," I told him. "You just haven't seen it yet." We prepped for days. Rehearsals, wardrobe, PR coaching, and when he walked out onto that stage, full lights, full band, crowd buzzing. He looked back at me just once that I gave him a nod that he closed his eyes. Gripped the mic, then sang Shadow in the Sunlight. By the final chorus, the entire audience was on their feet. Tears. Applause. Silence between lines that felt like prayer. It wasn't a performance, that it was resurrection. After the show, he didn't say much. Just looked out the car window, breathing. Slow. "I saw her tonight," he finally said. "Your mom?" He nodded. "She would have been proud." Asterisk. After The Tonight Show, everything changed. Record labels were calling. Collaborations poured in. Streaming numbers exploded. Blue wasn't just the mystery voice anymore. He was Elijah Monroe, the man who survived the silence and turned it into sound. But the higher he climbed, the more I saw the pressure weighing on him. That he hated the interviews, the glam, the expectation to have a message. "I just want to sing," he told me once. Not be a symbol. But whether he liked it or not, the world had made him one. That we signed with a mid-sized, artist-friendly label. They gave us freedom. No demands, just support. Blue dropped an album called Barefoot Gospel. Acoustic, stripped down, raw as a nerve. The it hit #1 on Apple Music in 2 days. He played Tiny Desk, SNL, even did a duet with Alicia Keys at the Grammys pre-show. But then came the shadows. It started small. A former friend from the shelter posted on TikTok, "I knew Blue when he had nothing. Funny how he forgot us all." It went viral. Then came rumors about drug use, false. About me controlling his image, also false. About him exaggerating his story, completely false. The worst came from an ex-producer who tried to poach him early on. Blue ain't no saint. That gospel act is a marketing gimmick. He didn't react, at least not in public. But I saw the cracks. That he stopped writing, canceled a studio week, disappeared for 2 days. That I found him in an old church in Queens, sitting in the last pew. "Don't they know?" he asked quietly. "Know what?" "That I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be free." We sat there a long time. Eventually, he pulled out a notebook. On the last page, he'd scribbled a single lyric. "The world gave me a crown, but I still wear my scars." That line became the title of his final single that year, Crown and Scars. Broke the internet. It wasn't flashy. No beat drops. No features. Just Elijah, a piano, and his pain. The music video was one take. Him walking barefoot through a burned-down building. Symbolic. Intentional. Devastating. 2 weeks later, he turned down a headlining world tour. The industry was shocked. But I wasn't. That he chose instead to create a nonprofit, the Echo Project, a platform to fund music programs for homeless youth. "I want them to find their voice," he said, "before the world tries to steal it." A year to the day since we met, I sat in the back of a small theater in Brooklyn. Blue was on stage with 10 kids from shelters and group homes, singing a song they wrote together. He caught my eye mid-verse and smiled. It was the first time in months I saw peace on his face. Not pride, not power, just peace. Blue still makes music. Still lives simply. Still sings in churches on Sundays when no one recognizes him. His story isn't about fame. That it's about choosing your voice and what you do with it when the world finally listens.